I wanted to talk about Netflix a little bit because Netflix is currently in the middle of a shift where they are um, they are giving their subscribers more live programming.
That's right.
Um, and this honestly is something that most or all of the streaming services provide at this point. There's live content. Certain apps have sports that are always running, or some apps will have like the local channels that you tend to get free. To catch those live, you can go into the Peacock app and watch certain channels that fall under NBC Universal. Um, you can watch those live. So this is a very common thing for streaming platforms to provide live programming. Netflix specifically, I think Netflix has maybe had a challenge with this because they were Netflix was always this digital service it before it came to live capabilities. A lot of these other companies actually had television networks that were showing live programming, so maybe the transition there was a bit easier. I don't know. It could also simply be software that um, software is not the right technical term, but it could be the actual uh, programs that they're using. To every streaming site doesn't use the same program to show you your streaming um, your streaming shows and not. So the player is what I'm talking about. So Netflix is getting more involved with this. The first ever live event for Netflix was the Love Is Blind reunion 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and it failed miserably.
Right.
It did not do well. They have not done a live reunion since then. Uh,
Oh no, I didn't know that.
no, people complained that it just didn't work for them. They tried to tune in, they couldn't get it. By the time they were having, so as viewers, people were having issues, and then in the studio, as they were trying to do the live, they were having issues, and they had to
Uh,
get to the point where they had to tape it and then just upload it, which is essentially what they do with their live programming. You watch it live, and then afterwards,
it's available, right?
it's available afterwards. Um, I remember when Chris Rock did his show, his stand up, that was pretty successful. Um, they had the Jake Paul and Tyson fight that happened recently where people said they had lots of challenges with it.
Yeah.
And so the reason I wanted to bring this up is because what we haven't mentioned yet, and I'm sure a lot of people know by now, is that Beyonce is performing at one of the NFL games that's happening later on in December,
It's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day
Texans,
in
Ravens in Houston.
Houston. And this is supposed to be a live event.
Mhm.
Beyonce is arguably the big star in the world. Like, what? So people are like, are we going to get to see Beyonce live, or are we going to have
Right.
to wait for the playback? Because is this going to work? Because Netflix has been having some challenges. I hope they're able to work it out. But really, we don't know because I thought they had worked out the kinks. Like when I watched the Chris Brown special, when I watched the Chris Rock special, I was like, oh, they got it together. It was pretty seamless. But
Hmm.
I think maybe it has to do also with audience size.
Yes.
The more people that are watching it and using their player, the more. I mean, that happens with anything. If so many people go to a website at the same time, the website
Yeah,
can
it can
crash.
crash. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I think it is about audience size. For example, the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight um is said to have had 65 million people streaming it at the same time. I don't think they anticipated that it was going to be 65 million people streaming this event.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Beyonce will very likely be double, triple in size. And so I think a couple of things. I think one, I don't think they're going to underestimate the Beyonce of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think they know what Beyonce can do. I think Beyonce is enough of a household name that they know, hey, we got to get our shit together. This is not a niche TV show like Love is Blind. This is not a boxing fight that we didn't really know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's Beyonce. You know what's going to happen with Beyonce. And so I don't think there's too much to worry about. I think they're going to make sure that their servers are good and everything is up to par. And I think if they don't, they're going to have some issues with the NFL, who they have this new partnership with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the NFL is going to, let them know, hey, this is what we're used to. I'm sure they've shared their data.
Yeah.
And also Netflix has done stuff already with Beyonce in the past. And so I'm sure they understand the
importance.
I was going to say the level of fandom that comes with Beyonce and what those numbers could look like.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect this to be the same situation where it crashes and people have trouble. If it does, Netflix is they're going to have to offer some apologies and figure stuff out, because that can't keep happening. So that's
and not with WWE.
Right. And so they have lots, that's kind of where I was going next. They have lots of partnerships in place for the coming years where they will be doing these live events on their platform. And so they have to really make sure that they're investing properly in this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will say third is, I think one thing about Netflix that people may not recognize is that Netflix has constantly innovated the game.
Mm-hmm.
We stream because of Netflix.
Absolutely.
And this whole live TV thing, they're the pioneers of it. And no, live television is not new, but doing it on a streaming app is. And so, yeah, like you said, everyone is kind of testing it out and trying to get deals together to do it. And it's kind of ironic that streaming is turning back into live television. However,
I tried to tell y'all. I
yeah,
tried to tell y'all when y'all said TV is dead. No, it's just moving to a different place.
yeah,
That is literally all that's happening.
correct. But
Same actors, it's the same audience, it's the same everything, except for the fact that you could find it on a digital platform as opposed to turning on your cable. So.
correct, right. Um, yeah, and so I think Netflix doesn't get enough props, and just that how much they've innovated the game. Like, we stream because of them, original content, that whole wave of like
Yeah.
streaming app specific content, right? Like the Netflix shows have now turned into every platform having specific shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say they are the only ones who have done this, but they keep making these pivots
Mm-hmm.
and kind of changing the game. And I think, regardless of what happens with the Beyonce stuff, I think people got to put a little more respect on Netflix name. I'm not a big Netflix fan. I don't have Netflix. I don't really bang with a lot of the stuff they do, but I do recognize what they have done in the media space
Mm-hmm. Oh
and
yeah,
in the content space.
the whole landscape has changed because of Netflix. While I think that certain other companies may have been ahead of the game with certain things because of the way they were the way their business model was set up, they had to integrate programming
Right.
from broadcast and cable to digital. So I do think that I'm not gonna. This is about Netflix. I'm not gonna make it about any other company, but I do think that in that sense, they those companies had an edge. Um, And the ones that maybe didn't or didn't know how to move forward, like, it's fine. If you think about like Disney,
Hmm.
Disney knew well enough to buy Hulu.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, um, and they've been able to integrate in a big way because they knew well enough to do that. But we
Right.
wouldn't, you're right, we wouldn't be having any of these conversations had Netflix not been what it was so many years ago,
Right.
and had they not started to, like, House of Cards
Right.
was the beginning of it all. Um, that I still think about it. I mean, as much as it's gross, but I still think about it when I turn on Netflix and you hear that knock.
Right.
And I know everybody may not know that, but that knock that you hear at the beginning is Kevin Spacey knocking on his desk,
Hmm.
and that's an homage to that being their first show, their first original program. So Netflix is huge in their own right, and I mean they've made such a name for themselves in TV and film.
Right.
Um, Awards, even thinking about award season, award Netflix is the reason why shows on streaming sites are now included
Yeah.
because they didn't used to be. So it's definitely a growing industry, and they have definitely been innovative. I think they just have to work out the kinks of what they're trying to do moving forward, and I think it could be great because again, there's plenty of you can go on, I don't know, Peacock or wherever and watch a football game live. Like
Right.
it's easy to do. Granted, it's not going to be 100 million people
Right.
um, watching it at one time, not for a regular game on a Sunday, but this game that's coming up on, and I don't know what days football.
Christmas.
I don't know what days football comes on, so I just
Well,
use
it's
Sunday
Christmas.
as an arbitrary date. Um,
Well, this Beyonce game is Christmas
it's
Day.
Christmas, yes. But I think they got to be ready because they are also, I'm sure, under a microscope with the NFL, with WWE.
Yeah.
These are huge partners, so
Hmm.
you're gonna
And
want
other
to
people who may have deals in the works with them that we
yeah,
don't even know about yet.
yeah, of course. I mean, the Jamie Foxx,
Potential partnerships as well. People who's like, all right, we might consider something, but let's see how this whole Beyonce thing goes.
right? I think the Jamie Foxx stand up is live also. That's coming up
Oh
in
yeah.
like
Hmm.
2 weeks, a week and a half from now.
Yeah.
I think that's live as well. So they have a lot of
I
balls
mean,
in the air.
Jamie Foxx would be fine.
No, I think Jamie Foxx will be fine. I'm just saying they have a lot of balls in the air. They have a lot invested in this live thing, whether it's
Yes.
a smaller act or it's Beyonce and the NFL. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
there's a lot riding on this,
Hmm.
big and small, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm curious to see how how it goes. I would love to tune in to watch Beyonce on Christmas Day.
Right.
Christmas is one of those days where it's just real chill. I don't really ever have too much to do on Christmas. Oh, gingerbread house competition. I might take it to.
I'm sure you guys will make it happen.
I have to defend my title.
Yeah.
So, But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Indeed.